Hey guys, Mr. Bowman here. Today's learning objective is in pink and we are learning to identify paths and circuits, I'll circle that bit, from a network, and we're looking to determine their weight. So there are two goals for today, paths and circuits, weight. Before we get into the two examples I've got here, let's chat about terminology. And I'll start off with circuits, just because that's an easier one to understand. So circuits, it's a path throughout our network. So it's a path throughout our network. Well, I've written of, but definitely our. And what makes a circuit unique is you start and finish at the same node. And if you ever get confused about which one's which, circuits sounds a little bit like a circular circle. So the circular nature of a circuit tells you about that. The next thing we need to be aware of, so we've done circuits, paths. So paths relate to circuits a little bit. Again, it's another path throughout our network. Path throughout network, except this one's a bit different because throughout our network, it is different because you don't start and finish at the same node. You start and finish at different nodes. So start and finish at different nodes. Start and finish at, I would use the at sign because I'm feeling a bit lazy, different nodes. So if you have a look at the two examples we've got here, we can think about how these get applied. So we've got our first one that I've circled up here. You can see, I'm not sure which way they're going, but let's say they're going this way here. It looks like they start at E and then they finish at C, or it could be the other way around. And because of that, they're starting and finish at different nodes. That is telling us that this is a path. And looking at the next one, when I drew this, I imagined starting at S. So you can see they start at S, and they also finish at S. So that means they're starting and finishing at the same node, and that was our definition of a circuit. So we're going to say, therefore, this one here is a circuit. And when we get to our next video that we're going to look at today, paths and circuits have a big impact on something called traversability. And that's a really, really important topic that will come up in our test. All right, let's cross out paths and circuits from our learning objective. We hopefully have a good understanding of what that is. And the next thing we're looking at is what exactly is the weight of each of these. And the weight refers to the numbers that are attached to them. So if you look at our first example, you can see going A to E that there was 7. And then we had 10, and then we had 20. So these numbers could relate to any different units. It could be maybe the cost in $1 million to construct the road between town E and town A. Maybe it's the time it would take to walk between A and E. So whatever it might be. But in our case, let's assume this was a bit of a trip, and those numbers relate to time and the distance, or sorry, rather the time to walk between the two towns. So in our case, so if we're looking at path E, A, B to C, our weight would be 7, which comes from up here, plus the 10 plus the 20. And in this case, it would be 37. And because we talked about walking time, so it'll be 37 minutes to walk that particular path. So let's have a look at the same. So for circuits, it doesn't matter that it's a circuit. You still calculate the weight the exact same. The way we're going to describe our route is we're going to go S to A, over to B, down to D, across to C, and then finishing back at S. And the time is going to be 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8. So we've got 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8. And that there combined 23 minutes to walk. So these numbers here, as I said, just recapping, they relate to the weight of the particular walking route, whatever it might be. So let's cross out weight because we now understand weight. So that wrapped up our video. Hopefully you can identify the difference between paths and circuits. And once you know if it's a path or a circuit, hopefully you're able to calculate the weight of that path or circuit. Thanks so much for watching. Now let's get into heaps of practice.